Facebook Live on this lovely Wednesday, Thursday, all right? We are here today with Matthew Martinez, okay, from the Southwest office, son of Aldo, we'll just throw that in. Great mentor for him, and also Rookie of the Year last year. So tell us a little about yourself, how long you've been doing this. Well, we know it's been a little over a year now. How things going for you?
Yeah, good. It's actually, next month is 2 years officially, so time has flown in.
Good.
Yeah.
Time is fine and having a blast?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, well, tell us a little about, we'll go over here once in a while too so they can see you. So tell everybody how, like last year you were Rookie of the Year. Give us an idea of what that was for you, like how many transactions and all that good stuff.
Yeah, so there was a total of 14 transactions. I have a small handful, I think three of them may have been rentals, 3 or 4.
Okay.
Getting started and finding every way to basically learn how to operate, do real estate, take every avenue and every opportunity I could to find transactions, make them happen, and hit my goal that is what I kind of set out for myself at the beginning of the year. And I just worked every single day as hard as I could, doing the right things, and allowed things to kind of fall into place.
And it came together.
Yeah.
And you made some good money too, which is great. Good for you. No, I love it. And because I coach you, I know you, unlike a lot of newer agents, well, I shouldn't say unlike a lot of newer, but you seem to take off right away with jumping on the phone. It seemed to become, I wouldn't say natural, but it seemed like even though it took a little while for you to get momentum, it's something that you jumped in right away.
Yeah, and at least for me, when I first got started, I guess with anything I kind of jump into, and whether it's golf, pickleball, you name it, my kind of mindset is always I want to know everything involved around the process. What are the rules? Who are the professionals or the best people at this? And what do they do? And allow that for me to have a good understanding before I jump into something, so that when I jump in, I can hit the ground running. But with real estate is one of those things where you just physically can't do that. It's not possible. I mean, every day I'm learning something new, and it's always changing. So the one piece of advice I got was prospecting was the key to success. And Aldo brought me in there, introduced me to Dustin DeFore, Pedro, Andy Allison, some of the big prospectors in his office, and she said, hey, this is what they do. Take some time and just listen to them. So Dustin kind of showed me a lot of the ropes, allowed me to listen in on him making some calls, and I committed myself to the mindset and the understanding that this is what I had to do and what I needed to do to get myself to that next level, and continue working in this industry with longevity. So as bad as I was, at the very beginning, it was I'll fail every single day until I make this work, because I know that this is the key.
Yeah, it is the key, and that's smart too, that you were able to listen to that, because we do have some really good prospectors in your office. I know Dustin well, Andy, Pedro. Andy used to work for Mike Ferry, so he was used to being on the phone all day, because I was there at the same time he was. But it does take a unique, like you said, I'm going to do it until it works. And that's the attitude you have to have in order to be successful in this business. If you're going to use prospecting, and we have agents that don't prospect a lot, but they have a tremendous repeat and referral business. It took them 20, 25 years to develop, and you don't have the kind of time. You want to get right into the action.
Yeah.
Right. So, all right. So tell us. So it did take you because there was a while where you were filling the pipeline, and then all of a sudden it kind of took off a little bit, right?
Yeah, and that was the one thing is, they say insanity is doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result, and it's safe to say I went pretty insane doing the same thing over and over and not getting the results. And it took months of phone prospecting to produce the the results and get the listings, get people into contract. But I had to find other ways. So supplementing to that, I was doing the open houses, door knocking. I had done prior with other sales. So I took those avenues to go ahead and do it. But yeah, it was months and months of failure with 0 results to speak for it, and just committing myself to the mindset is, all right, here's a clean slate. I'm just going to keep going until that first one finally transpired. And when it did, a lot of other ones did at the same time. So it went from nothing to to chaos really fast. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you had at one point you had 3, 4, 5 pending at one time, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Right, especially when you're learning the process at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, learn the process and time management at the same time.
That's great.
Yeah, 2 birds with 1 stone.
It's a good way to be, and but I think that the doing the prospecting and doing the open houses and out there door knocking for them, that mix is good because it gets you a little. You start to decide, okay, which one do I want to do? Because some people never use the phone; they only door knock, and some people do a lot of the business from just open houses, and then some people do a little of all of it, which is what I recommend because it makes you more of a well-rounded salesperson.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's things to take from each of them, and I mean, face-to-face interaction is, I mean, the deal breaker. The phone leads to that face-to-face, and if you're not honing in that skill or getting comfortable in that mindset, it doesn't get you anywhere.
Right.
You can blow it there if you're not comfortable face-to-face.
Right. And how about the appointments? How did you So, because I know some of your business in your first year, it wasn't all buyers, you were doing some listings too.
Yeah.
Tell us a little about that, because that's fun, right?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was, and it showed me a lot about the other side of the business. So the first transaction was a buyer, but going to the listing side, right off the bat, I mean, two completely different sides, but it was amazing to get into people's homes and, fail at the listing presentation. At first it takes some time and some skill set to build it. Practicing on your own, working with some of the guys like Mladen and, rehearsing the presentation. I eventually got there and, start to feel really comfortable, but it's definitely a learning curve.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because it is interesting because, these people are letting you into their house. You're presenting in their most valuable asset, where they raise their kids, where they have their family. So it is, I always thought about that. When I was new, that's exactly the thought that I used to have too. So it makes you a little nervous and you feel like you can feel the weight, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So it takes time to get comfortable. But I like what you said earlier though, doing the same thing over and over, expecting different results. But that kind of is what telephone prospecting is.
Yeah.
Because as you do it, it does get better. And then there's that process and learning curve, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of times it's just, accepting the reflex no, but still moving on to the next question.
Yeah.
When you get to their houses though, now you're face to face, it's a whole different thing.
Yeah. And the biggest thing too is kind of the mindset aspect of it of once it does work and you understand that it can and will and you start to feel comfortable, it's a completely different mindset of now this is a tool that will work and produce the results that I want. It's still going to take time and take failure, but through the testament of time and trial and error, it's proven fruitful.
Right. And
having that in your mindset, to know that you can generate business through this avenue is at least one of the biggest, breaths of relief you can ask for.
You get to a point where it all starts making sense.
Yeah.
You can feel it coming together. You go, and I'm sure you're using company tools, and the Berkshire Hathaway name is very helpful when you're out there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because it's like an instant testimonial for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you have your listing presentation pretty much knocked down now? You know what you do almost every time?
Yeah, the delivery of the timeline, and it comes from Mike Ferry and some of the other coachings that we've had in the office, and I've taken those little different tools and kind of intertwined them into what works for me and what I feel delivers the message and sets me up in the opportunities to build the rapport, do what I need to do to ultimately get the listing.
Right, and I use the Mike Ferry presentation myself too, the question based, and then you have the marketing tools that we have too. So you mix those two together. I think that's a really good presentation. The one Maria does, I like that one a lot too. Yeah,
and the other one I took good information. I can't remember whose presentation it's based off, but it's essentially the Forever Agent.
Yeah, Alan Dalton.
Yep, Alan Dalton.
Yeah, I like his phrasing and language too.
Yeah,
that's huge.
Yep.
So you take, and then you add a little bit of that to it because he's definitely. I like his phrases and how he terms certain things is very helpful.
Yeah, that was the biggest thing too. Is looking at the verbiage of the way that you say stuff, and over time you listen to other people that've been in the industry a long time, and there is archaic language that can be off-putting, and unless you're looking at it from that outside perspective or hearing it from someone who's been in there and hear both sides of it, it starts to make sense and see what kind of works for you.
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot too. Yeah, and so, okay, so let's do this then. So Rookie of the Year, which in this office is, which in this company, I mean, we have a lot of new people, as you know, and so to win that is incredibly good. Having your father around was helpful.
Yeah.
being the sales manager, obviously, and I've had your mother, my successor. I mean, my CE successors a few times too. So she's licensed.
Yeah.
So that's cool. All right, so give us a knowing what you know now, if you could do this all over again, what would be give them the three most important things you would tell them to focus on?
At least for me, looking back at it, what I would say, if I could do it all over, would first be to kind of prioritize the low-hanging fruit, as Pedro kind of puts it. And I guess you spend a lot of time looking for absolutely anything, and you mentioned it, kind of going from the scrambled chaos of doing all these different activities, looking to generate business, and as soon as you hear someone express any remote sign of interest, you're willing to go ahead and put the time in.
Right.
And I guess it's tough unless you experience the failure, the time suck, and that type of experience for you to understand what's actually going to produce a result, what's the most efficient use of your time. But I guess it would be to cut out maybe some of, or especially depending on the market conditions, look at something that's proving to happen in the near future and prioritize.
Like expireds for sale by owners, just to give an idea of what you're talking about. So, low-hanging fruit are people that probably are going to do something in the immediate future.
Yeah, within 0 to the next 2 months, I'd say.
Okay. So prioritize the low-hanging fruit and start there. But the thing is that if you're going to do that as an agent, that's also where the high rejection comes too.
Yep.
Right? Because you can call a lot of just listed, just sold, and not get beat up much. You call a couple of expireds from sell by owners, you're in the game immediately.
Yeah.
You're in the arena, so to speak.
Yeah, you're in the arena, and that's why it's the double-edged sword, because you're with the people who are ready to act, but you're brand new.
Right.
Do you have the experience to deliver and earn that? But again, the failures over and over, eventually compound and result to you getting better. And
that's a big point too. What you just said there is your ability to handle rejection and failure, I think, is directly correlate to where you should start. Like you obviously, you handled it very well. A lot of people don't. So I think jumping right in there is really good for your personality and so forth. Some people may want to ease into it a little bit more. I was the same way. I wanted to talk to the people who were ready to sign a contract.
Yeah. And
I got better faster doing that, and you learn how to handle the rejection.
Yeah.
And you remember next time, okay, I'm not going to say that again.
Yep. And it's, when you get face to face and you hear those conversations, like door knocking, you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
And once you get in front of these people, you hear the same questions over and over.
Right.
And the first time you hear about interest rates, or first day as an agent, it's all right. What do I need to know about this? And then you hear people ask you the question. All right, you failed, didn't know what to do. You look that up, and then the next time you go in there and you're better, well equipped.
Yeah.
And those failures, I was happy to receive them.
Yeah.
No problem getting.
It's a good attitude to have too.
To get shut down, but
you'd be shocked, and I know, you probably know this because you talk to newer agents too. Some of them get paralyzed by rejection right away. It takes some people a while to get used to it. So it's really good when you can have the mindset of, I'm going to get rejection, I'm going to learn for it, and I'm going to move on to the next one.
Yeah.
Perfect. So low-hanging fruit, and understand the attitude and expectations that go along with that is important.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's a great one. What about give us another one?
Yeah, I would say the other one that at least I wish I would have spent more time kind of setting up my systems, or maybe looking more into the database management, setting up Rate My Agent, Yelp, some of the different background stuff between the website, so that I got clients, I could have had them done reviews, or got all this stuff set up, where now it was more so getting busy and then trying to get all this stuff set up beforehand. So while times were slow, maybe setting aside to have all the kind of background surplus stuff, set up, dialed in, so that.
Yeah, because the Zillow comments, the Yelp, all those reviews are very important.
Yeah.
And you can send them a little link when you're doing the transaction.
Yep.
Right, so I get them from agents all the time, and I do a nice little review of the agents. but it's more valuable when it comes from the client and customer.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. So get organized, and you said a lot there. The CRM, because I know you use the VAC, and then you also have like Follow-Up Boss, right?
Follow-Up Boss, yeah.
So you do the two together, because one does the marketing and all the drifts and everything else for you, and the other one organizes you as to when you, maybe you should, explain that, how you use it, because I think it'd be valuable for them to hear.
Yeah, so that was probably one of the biggest game changers, was getting a sophisticated CRM. The VAC has some amazing tools in there for, the marketing, reaching out to other agents, mass emails, creating flyers, and there's a multitude of different tools that are immensely valuable for the marketing. But at least turning my database into a dialer with Follow-Up Boss, allowed me to manage my follow-up much more efficiently, where I was following a systematic approach to reaching out to people, being able to see and organize my conversations with them, and create structures so that the follow-up calls have purpose.
Right.
And I can see what the purpose of the previous one was, give them homework or tasks, so that, I can establish that relationship or mindset of we're working together and doing things in conjunction to ultimately get you to a transaction.
Right.
And providing that meeting and allowing the system to operate efficiently was the biggest game changer for me.
Yeah, so, like for agents out there, what Matthew's saying is, you make your contacts, and then you have a system, so, or I talked to you, today's Thursday, my next time I'm gonna talk to you is next Tuesday, you load up your notes, you load up the next contact, Follow-Up Boss keeps you organized, and then you put them in the VAC to get like a neighborhood report, or a market report, or a newsletter, or all the above, and then so your marketing part comes from the VAC, and then your memory and mind and all your notes come from something like Follow-Up Boss.
Yeah.
That's a good combination.
Yeah, no, it is, and for me, it was the biggest game changer. Was I had the marketing and the drip, and then managing the follow up and the conversations. Having more meaningful conversations. Appointments set up, and sending them those confirmations to put my face in front of them a little bit more efficiently. Just for me, made the biggest difference.
Okay, cool.
My time.
So we got the low-hanging fruit and decide from an attitude of like which ones you can handle. And then we've got get organized from the beginning. It's the number one thing the seasoned agents say too. I wish I'd started my CRM before. And your reviews as well. Okay, so give them one more as far as to get out of the gate hot.
Yeah, if I were to get out of the gate hot, I would say probably just spending more time prospecting. As much
That's a good one.
As much time as I spent, and I'd say I spent a lot and stayed disciplined to it. There's always time to stretch in more, and that's why now I've kind of extended my calling time till 8:30 p.m. So reaching out in the evening, I feel has gotten a great result with people.
Especially follow-up, right?
Yeah, that's when most people get off work, and maybe keeping more track of when's like the best time to get a hold of people. So maybe taking that more analytical approach to my dialing instead of, all right, here's my dialing time, and just clicking through the numbers. Where to now it's been, all right, I'm realizing that this person answered at this hour, but they're not answering during this time. Let me confirm with them when's the best time to get a hold of them, and start setting up myself to get into contact with more people more frequently, instead of just going through the robotic motions of doing the task. Right,
yeah, being more on purpose about it and organized. I love it. I think you're pretty organized now. Give them an idea of like how many people do you talk, your prospecting and your lead follow. How many conversations do you have a day pretty much?
So looking at numbers now, the lead source, I'm getting less dials to more contacts and more conversations. So I each day now I'll probably make over 100 phone calls. It'll lead to over 15 conversations that are over 2 minutes. It doesn't track the ones that are under 2 minutes, and about 6 to 8 hours of talk time over the course of the week.
Nice. So, and you're making 100 dials, so that's above the average, which is about 10%, because it's about a 10% new when you're first dialing, right?
Yeah.
So basically, it sounds like a lot of your prospecting today is actually lead follow-up.
Yeah,
There's more than that than there was when you first started.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I've kind of had to switch to, because as I built the database, as it grows, I don't want to set too many tasks on the lead follow-up in one day to where I can't reach out or bring new people into the system. And it's essentially managing that kind of fine balance of lead follow-up, spacing people out without putting them too far out to where I'm still in contact with them on a consistent basis, bringing new people into the CRM, and just keeping the pipeline going and managing what I do have. So it's like I said, it's a changing process every single day, and I'm always looking to make it more efficient.
Fine tune it, yeah. That's excellent. Yeah, that's great. And so your second year, how's it going?
I'm loving it. It's definitely been eye-opening to see how, just putting yourself out there, you gain just a little bit more knowledge, and it, keeps compiling, and you feel more, confident in, this situation than you did prior. Looking back how you handled previous situations and taking those little bits of experience. It's been awesome to look back and, see how things have changed, and I couldn't be happier with, where I'm at, where I'm doing, and loving it.
All right, awesome. Well, like you just said, creating that more momentum by now you're getting better at your calls, everything's working better on the listening presentation, you know what to say. So carrying that confidence, and now you must wake up going, I know what I got to do today.
Yeah.
Which is a good feeling.
It is, yeah. You just knowing, here's my routine, I know it works, just got to stay consistent, you do the right things day by day, and just focus on not the result, but doing the things properly. And things happen, things fall apart, things don't happen, but everything's going to line up as long as you do the right things.
And it's a numbers game over time. So.
Yeah.
So how do you think you're going to end up year 2 versus year 1?
I'm on pace for my goal.
Good.
Yeah.
And what's your goal?
It's 2.5x previous year's goal.
Okay, good. So what's that transaction numbers? That's going to be like
GCI.
in GCI. Okay,
Yeah.
good. All right, good. So that'll be almost double the transactions, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
About double the transaction, which is good. You double your first year, that means you're getting close to 30 a year, which is really good. I just wanted them to hear the transaction numbers because the progression from 14 to 30 is awesome. Even if you finish up at 28, 31, whatever, that's a dynamite progression. Just showing